I've got a pair of knit pants to share that is super easy to sew. They have the edgiest type of hem, but if that's not your jam, you can do it regular, you can do it straight as well. Hi sewing friends, my name's Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing, and I have some knit sewing to share today. Knit pants. I think one of the best things that we can sew for ourselves, it's usually pretty easy to sew and the fitting issues seem to be less than with sewing woven pants. Greenstyle makes the best knit pants. I've never had a bad experience. I've been sewing leggings and pants and fitted pants and lounge pants, all the pants in knits for a pretty long time. And I've even sewn one of their woven pants I was super happy with. When I saw the design of this one a couple of weeks ago, I was very, very excited because there's options here. There's options for everyone. These are pull-on pants. There's different types of waistbands. There's a yoga waistband that is not a traditional yoga waistband because it's not a rectangle, it's shaped. I love that. And then there's a fold over yoga waistband. You can add a drawstring and a grommet if you want to. I just kept it simple and did the yoga waistband because I don't wear crop tops or like sports bras on their own. Like you don't see my waistband, that's what I'm trying to say. So if I can keep it simple and it achieves the purpose of fitting well and holding up my pants, I'm going to go with the simple option. Thank you very much. So for the leg options, both of them have a side panel if you want that can have a sort of patch pocket in between the seams. Super easy. I tried really hard to get that side panel to fit my fabric, but it would not fit. So I've just sewn the regular legs. One of them can be just straight, you know, your classic pull-up pant that can be straight, and you could actually dress that up a little bit. The other one, that is the one I was excited because that is a different one. And at the bottom, you have a whole bunch of dots. So on each leg, you have 6 dots. When you cut out your pants, they're like this, but then with all the dots, it ends up looking like this a little bit. I thought it was awesome, really edgy, really different, and great for lounging or sporty pants, whatever. I think it's great. This is not the style I would want to wear heels with, or, you know, no, this is for active stuff. So I was so happy to sew something totally different. Now on this bubble hem, you're going to see the pattern piece is either straight or sort of curved. The curved is maybe to show off your shoes a little bit more. It would be shorter sort of in the center front and the center back. I just kept mine straight. The way that you hem these is different. You can't just fold up all those dots. It would be super bulky. So you use a really simple hem facing. There is an optional gusset. I decided to use the gusset. I think it's a good idea. It's comfortable. And you avoid the intersection of 4 seams right there at the crotch, especially with something fitted like this. Gusset is always a good idea. Because the Volare leggings are brand new at Greenstyle, they have a discount. I believe the sale ends the 20th of May. I will confirm that. All the information is going to be at the top of the comment section and in the description box. Easy for you to find if you want to sew these up. I will leave all that information for you, super easy to find. If you want to check these out and purchase, you can click on my affiliate link. It'll take you directly to the website. You don't pay anything extra. I just receive a small commission back from Greenstyle. It's one of the ways I make an income creating helpful content here on YouTube that you can watch and enjoy without any cost. So if you use my affiliate link, thank you so much. Remember, I have the bubble hem option, but there is a straight one as well if it's not your jam. I think they're great knit pull-on pants. For the fabrics, you need a medium weight knit fabric. Specified, it has to have 50% stretch from selvage to selvage and also vertically. There's some negative V's here. It's a fitted design. You know, I wouldn't use cotton lycra because if you sweat, you're going to see the sweat there. It's not great. Unless you want these just to lounge around in, you know, that you're not going to be sweating in. But I would look for a heavier cotton lycra. A cotton lycra doesn't always have the best vertical stretch. So that's why I put that in an asterisk. I think you'd have to analyze that. I wouldn't use rayon spandex, ITY. No, I would keep this athletic performance knit fabric. I think that is the best fabric. You know, if you wanted to try a stretch velvet, usually they don't have that much vertical stretch if they have any. So I've chosen a really nice athletic knit. I'm very fortunate. I live in Brazil and I can find athletic knits pretty easily that are actually made here. I can buy them online. And so let me show you my fabric. It's green. I love the color. This is my athletic knit. This is polyamide 81% and spandex 19%.
It's considered heavyweight because it's 350 GSM or 10 ounce weight. It's nice and structured. It's got really great recovery. The stretch is amazing, both horizontally and vertically. So I know it's going to bounce back. It's not going to get saggy over the day. It's going to wick away sweat. It's not sheer at all, completely covered. So you're never going to see your skin through it or anything like that. It's just so good quality. Even if this fabric is more expensive, by me making these types of pants, they are still cheaper than me buying pants in this type of material. And I get the custom fit, so I'm super happy. And I'm going to order more colors because I really like this.
Polyamide spandex is so nice. Polyamide tends to feel softer than polyester, I've found. So whenever I'm looking for athletic knits, I tend to look for more polyamide. It's usually a little bit more expensive, but I've never been upset about what I've gotten. You know, I'm not buying these in person. I can't touch them. I just have to sort of trust. And then when I like it, then I buy it in other colors. And that's how I have a little stash of athletic material in my, collection. But for this project, I bought it specifically because I just wanted these green pants and I found that green fabric, so why not? If you're gonna do the fancier waistband options, you need some grommets and a drawstring. I wasn't gonna do that, so I basically don't need anything else other than my fabric. The sizing in Greenstyle changed, I guess about a year ago, from A1 to M3. When you look at the size chart, it goes up in increments of 1 inch. So bust, waist, hips, everything in 1, 1, 1. So it's really easy for you to find your perfect fit right there. You don't have to guess or size up, size down if you're in between. So I really, really like that. There's a lot of sizes there. I kept my waistband the size of my waist, and then at the top of the pants, I just blended out a little bit. Around the waist, there's 3 inches of negative V's, which you have to. I mean, it's a yoga waistband. It has to be fitted and your fabric stretches. It's going to stay snug. And at the hips, for my size, I have 0 E's. There's no negative E's. So when you see them on, you're going to see them fitted, but not extra fitted. They're not loose either. I think it's just perfect. You'll see them on. I really like the fit and the ease and everything. I wouldn't size down. There are 3 height files here: petite, regular, and tall. The regular one has a 32-inch inseam, and I know my inseam is 31, so I just shortened mine from the get-go. This is the type of hem that I don't want to be longer. I don't want it to be pulling and looking super strange with all those dots and being extra long. I don't plan to wear this with high heels. This is not a pair of pants I'm going to be dressing up. I'm going to be wearing sneakers or sandals or something. So let's keep my inseam as it is. So the only fitting adjustment I made to the regular file was to shorten it by 1 inch. There's shorten and lengthen lines there for you to do that. Super important for this design because you can't just fix it after the fact and chop off all those dots if your pants turned out too long. Getting the inseam right is really important in this design. With the straight leg one, I think you could sort of be okay if you had to cut it a little bit shorter if they were too long, but for the bubble and the dots, I would not want to be cutting off those dots at the bottom. I'm going to show you a lot of the sewing, show you the dots and the gusset and all the things.
I want to mark all these dots as accurately as I can. It's a darkish fabric, so I'm using white tracing paper. I've got a brand new sheet there, so it's really easy to put the paper underneath and on the bottom layer and under the paper, so I can mark it with my tracing wheel really neatly. So in each leg, there's 3 big dots. I'm marking them really nicely. These are the pieces for my version of the Volare leggings from Greenstyle. I have the simple version that has a front and a back leg. In my case, this is the front leg. That is the back leg. I've got them upside down so they fit on the table, but you can see towards the hem, it's wide. We have these deep dots there, 3 on each, same over there. So once these dots are sewn, it's going to give that effect on the hem, which I think is really cool. This is the way that we're going to hem them. It's a long piece. There's 2 of them. I'm going to do the gusset. It's optional. You can opt to sew the back crotch like normal, but I thought, why not? Now, there is another option where these pieces on the side are a little narrower, and then there's a side panel in there with a pocket. I chose the yoga waistband just because it's simple, it does the job, and I like that. You can see the shape is not a rectangle, it goes slightly in. I like that. It's more anatomic. There's one piece for the back and there's one piece for the front. There's a back piece, there's a front piece. They are not the same. They are cut from different pattern pieces. The back is slightly wider than the front. The bottom of each leg piece has 3 darts, and so I have 12 in total. 3 times 4 is 12. So I've taken my time to pin them. I'm going to get this done sooner rather than later because my marking method is not going to last very long. I know that if I move this around, you know, it's going to start fading, and I really want to see these darts. I'm sewing them as the first step. I'm going to sew them like any other dart that I sew on any other piece. I start from the tip. I actually hand crank and move the needle inside by hand, short stitch length. I leave the long threads and then I go off to the wider part. So I'm just going to sew one here. There's 12. It's a lot. One done, 11 to go. I've sewn my darts. I'm going to localize the crotch because that's how I know that this is the inseam right here, this edge. And that's the direction where all the darts have to head over to. So all the dart volume needs to head over to the inseam right there. I'm going to put a pin on each dart just so that I can remember and not make a mistake. So for each leg, front and back, we do the same. Just push all the dart volume towards the inseam. And now what we're going to do is top stitch it down. So right there, we're just going to start there and top stitch all of these darts down. This is another presser foot. This has an L on it. It's also a type of blind hem presser foot, but different. When you move this, it moves this edge in or out. So you can actually get whatever seam allowance you want, and it's really helpful. I've set it here to about 1/8 of an inch. So these athletic knits are not easy to press. You know, if you press them, they won't lie super flat. So I totally agree with this edge stitching right here because it's going to make it look nice, but also keep the dart flat. I didn't back stitch right there just because I don't like back stitching on knits. I think it can look ugly. I'm just going to use this needle with a large opening. And I know this is going to be tedious, but I really don't want to back stitch there. I'm just going to push that to the back. Find the other thread over here and just knot it by hand, and that's going to give you a really neat finish there on the tip of that dart without back stitching. So I'm going to do that 12 times, this exact process of edge stitching and knotting that by hand on the tip of the dart. Darts are done, top stitched, all of that, and now I have the back leg right there and the front leg on top, one and the other leg. I've pinned the side seam so we can get that sewn. I'm just going to do it directly on the serger. I have matching thread, so that's really nice. I've chosen one of these, one leg, and this is the back crotch. It looks weird here at the bottom because there was a little bit trimmed away. If you weren't doing the gusset, this would have a shape like this. So right here on the wrong side, I have those little marks. Here I have the gusset pieces, 2 of them. They're together right on top of each other and you can see the marks. So I'm going to line that up there. It matches up perfectly. And this is where we're going to sew this side of the gusset. Both of them, both layers together. I'm just going to sew that little bit there with 3/8 seam allowance. I'm doing this on the serger, so I am trimming away about 1/8 of an inch as I go so I can keep the seam allowance accurate. Before sewing the crotch seams, I went ahead and for each leg, I pressed the side seam really nicely, steamed it as much as I could. Same as all these darts down here. Over there is a little gusset that I've just sewn on this leg. This other leg that I'm going to put on top doesn't have the gusset, so they go right sides together. And now we sew these crotch seams. Front is straightforward, but the back, when we sew it, we're going to catch this other side of the gusset. I'll show you that up close. It's super easy. Here I'm sewing the front crotch. There's nothing different with this. It's just 2 front legs, crotch seam, super easy. You see I'm trimming away a little bit to conserve the 3/8 seam allowance. This is the back, it starts there, and once we get to this area, I'm going to just make sure that I catch that little bit right there, and that's how we complete the crotch seam. And then instead of having a whole bunch of seams in that area, we're going to have a little triangle there. That's reinforced because it's double. Check it out, a little triangle here from this side. That's how it looks like. So that's nice. Now I'm going to put a pin right in the middle, right here, because that's where we're going to meet the inseam from the front. I've opened up the legs and now I have the inseams ready to be sewn. So this is the front crotch seam that's going to match my pin right there, which is the middle of that triangle, the base of the triangle. And then I'm going to continue pinning this right here all the way down to the hem. At this point, I feel like I'm almost done. There are the inseams pinned together. I'm going to just serge that quickly. It's actually a super long seam. It's very straight. Nothing really interesting to see there. And then I'm going to show you how we do the hem because it's a little bit different. And then the yoga waistband. This is called a hem facing and it's just a long piece. It's supposed to be stretchy. It's cut exactly to fit the hem at the bottom. I can't really leave it raw, so I serged one of the long ends. The raw edge is the side that I'm going to sew to the pants and I have sewn it together right there. Here is one of the legs. This is right sides up. I'm going to put these right sides together, slide this in, and this is going to match the circumference perfectly. So I'm going to match it up, pin it, sew it all the way around, and then this gets folded to the inside. And that's how we hem it. Now, you can top stitch that if you want. I definitely don't want to do that. I want a really clean look there. And from here, it's going to look super clean. I just don't want a seam going through the darts. I just don't want that. But you can do that if you want. There it is, sewn together. And now all I'm going to do is flip this to the inside. I don't like sewing it with a sewing machine, sewing by hand. And on this other side, it's going to be so neat. And that's going to hold it in place. The yoga waistband is a little bit different because it's got this shape. So I'm going to match these up. I'm going to sew that with a sewing machine, a narrow zigzag, press seam open. And then I'm going to have a round waistband and then I can fold it like that. And then I'm going to sew it onto the top of the pants like all other yoga waistbands. Here I'm sewing one of the waistband side seams. It's got an angle. It's just a narrow zigzag, so it allows some stretch. That's how that looks. And now I'm going to do the same right over here. Here I've got the waistband pinned, right sides together right there. I've matched up the center back with the center back. I make sure to check that this is the back. There is the gusset, so that is the back. The front, that's the center front. The crotch seam matches there, and then match it up with the side seams. And the waistband is slightly shorter. So when we sew it on the serger, we need to stretch to make it match. And that's it. Super easy. Love this type of waistband. It's just so easy and functional. You don't need elastic in there. The fabric is going to do the trick.
Now you have to stretch your waistband to match the top of the waist. That's why it looks like there's gathers there. But when it's actually on the body, it's completely straight and flat. And my body fills this up so that you don't see these gathers anymore. This is the seam of the waistband. You know, what this does is that it makes it smaller up here and larger here, which is actually my shape. So this being so wide, it needs this shape. When I do those really quick yoga waistbands that are just rectangles, I make them narrower. So for a wide one like this, I think it's perfect that it has that shape there. And I'm thinking I would love to use this waistband on whatever other things I make because it's so nice. So the front, super simple. The crotch right here. This is the side seam. This is where you would have a separate panel going all the way down if you wanted a pocket there on the side. I just did not have fabric to place all those pieces along. Yeah, I would have needed more fabric, so too bad. I would have liked that. At the bottom, this is the core hem. Check out the darts that are top stitched. They are all edge stitched and pressed. My hand sewn hem. I would have been very unhappy to have a seam all the way around the bottom going through darts and everything. How bulky. Some people don't mind that. I mind that. I would rarely sew a neat pant by hand, the hem, but I did here. I just caught all that facing by hand in there. It took a little while and I'm much happier. You know, I don't regret my decisions, my life choices. There is a triangle gusset. So that is the front crotch, and you see it doesn't match the back crotch right here. It goes right in the middle of the triangle and it makes it so much more comfortable to wear and relieves the tension in this area. And plus that triangle is double. There's 2 layers. I'm pretty proud of my Serja thread collection because I literally have every single color. I would have not been happy to use another color here on the inside. So everything's very nice. It's all green. Let me show you this style. Here are my Volare leggings from Greenstyle. They are super nice. I love this athletic knit in this bright green. These are polyamide spandex blend, perfect for this style. From the top, these leggings are not super tight. I've got an E1 waist blended to E2 hips. The sizing is from 1-inch increments, easy to get your exact size. I have the regular inseam, the regular file for height, minus 1 inch because I didn't want this hem to pull down at the bottom. I wanted the shape from the darts that you see at the bottom of the hem to show really nicely. And I've got it paired with a little tank. I've got a simple yoga waistband that is not that simple because it has a shape, but there are other options for the waistband. You could also do panels on the side, an extra piece that goes from the waist down to the hem that has a little pocket in there. I did not have enough fabric to get that panel from my fabric, so mine's just simple. Check out the detail at the bottom. So pretty. There's 3 dots on the front, 3 dots on the back, so 6 dots per leg, 12 dots in total. That gives it that really edgy looking shape. These are such comfortable pants, great for lounging, for going to the gym, for traveling, whatever. I think they're really different, unique, and I really enjoyed sewing them. I'm very happy to have sewn these. Now that I know that I like this material and the quality of it, I'm going to be purchasing in black, hopefully brown. I would have loved to make another pair. I think they're so cool, edgy, different. That's all I look for when I wear clothes, something that's a little bit different to what other people are wearing. And if I can make it myself, it's even better because I can adjust for length. You know, lately when I've tried on ready to wear things, the hems are always a little short on me. I realize I'm out of the standard height, you know, I'm a little bit taller. So when I sew for myself, I can customize and get exactly the inseam I want, use the fabric I want, and it's just so enjoyable. These were super easy to remember. They're on sale through the 20th. That's all from me. I'll see you back here really soon with more fun sewing. Bye.